CS Murkomen's reaction stemmed from statements made by His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua regarding the potential for severe violence in the 2027 election. His Excellency's statements starkly referenced the devastating 2007-2008 post-election violence, warning that any repeat, should there be an attempt to rig the election, will dwarf previous conflict. We view CS Murkomen's swift and draconian response, threatening arrest and legal charges, and declaring such statement should disqualify one from public office, not as the legitimate concern for national security, but a cynical distortion and gaslighting campaign. This clearly aimed at framing a warning about the potential catastrophic consequences of electoral malpractice as incitement. It is a perverse inversion of reality, where those who issue stacking warnings based on historical precedents are targeted. Meanwhile, some who are the actual perpetrators or enablers of past violence and who have made public statements indicating no intention of peacefully relinquishing the power now feign outrage and publicly and audaciously present themselves as they aggrieve. This pattern of historical impunity, where no prior substantive action was taken against them for their role in previous violence or their own inflammatory declaration, emboldens the current threats against those who dare to speak truth to power about potential electoral theft and its dire consequences. The threats by CS Murkomen constitute a grave assault on the bedrock of our democracy and the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution of Kenya and international law. The threat to arrest His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua for expressing his views, however alarming they may have been interpreted by some, they flagrantly violate several key provisions of our supreme law. And one of them is Article 33 on freedom of expression. That the threat to arrest for political opinion about potential future events, such warnings, rather than direct incitement to specific imminent violation of violent action, it doesn't in any way meet strengthening threshold which has been provided for under that Article 33(2). Therefore, is a direct attack. The statement by the CS Murkomen is a direct attack to the marketplace of ideas and essentially meant to limit freedom of expression. Also, his statements amount to a threat under Article 29 on the freedom of security of persons, since clearly threatening to arrest without clear, present, and legal justifiable basis tied to actual incitement and simply motivated by political retaliation, it undermines the fundamental right to freedom and security of persons, which is a right which has been provided for, which include the right not to be deprived of freedom arbitrarily or without a just cause. Then Article 50, the third aspect that we note of concern is the violation under Article 50, which is against the right to fair hearing, that the preemptive declaration of illegality and threats of charges, it bypasses the due process and flies in the face of presumption of innocence and the right to fair trial, which is cornerstone of our justice system. The legal provisions protecting His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, like any other citizen, from such arbitrary declarations are being trampled. I invite my chairman to proceed.
Furthermore, these threats are inconsistent with Kenya's obligation as a state party to the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, specifically Article 19 on freedom of expression and Article 9 on liberty and security of person, which allows restrictions only when proven necessary and proportionate, conditions demonstrably not met here. In a democratic society, robust and even controversial political discourse is not a threat. It is a necessity. Elected leaders and former high-ranking officials have a right and arguably a duty to express their opinion and concerns about the nation's trajectory, including the sanctity of the electoral process. Suppressing such voices through threats of legal action creates a chilling effect and systematically undermines the principles of democracy. As DCP Lawyers Caucus, we stand resolutely against this alarming trend. We shall not countenance the continued systematic abuse of law, policy reforms and institutional procedures clearly designed to weaken our electoral process and civic space. Neither shall we tolerate the escalating violations of fundamental rights by state officials and the deliberate undermining of civic education, crucial for an informed citizenry capable of discerning truth from distortion and standing against the manipulation that fuels violence. Accordingly, we demand that the government of Kenya, 1, immediately and unconditionally retract the threats made against His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. 2, publicly reaffirm its unwavering commitment to upholding the constitutional rights to freedom of expression, equality before the law, and freedom from arbitrary arrest for all Kenyans. Number 3, ensure all state officials respect the rule of law and adhere strictly to the provisions of the Constitution and international human rights law in both word and deed, particularly concerning those who have historically faced no consequences for their own violent rhetoric or actions. Number 4, actively promote an environment where diverse and critical political views can be expressed without fear of reprisals or selective persecution. Number 5, engage in genuine and constructive dialogue to address the underlying issues and legitimate concerns regarding electoral integrity and potential instability raised by various stakeholders rather than resorting to intimidation. We urge all Kenyans, civil society organizations, and the international community to remain vigilant, speak out against such threats, and collectively defend our hard-won democratic space and constitutional order. Silence in the face of such blatant intimidation and distortion is complicity. Thank you.
Hamjambo, kwa majina mimi ni Patrick Gachagua. Mimi ni wakili na pia mwanachama wa chama cha DCP, na hivi leo tuko hapa kuongea na pia kujaribu kupass communication ya kwamba tuliona semi ambazo zilisemwa na waziri Murkomen, ambapo alikuwa akimlenga naibu wa rais wa pili wa Kenya, Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, baada ya yeye kupeana maoni yake kuhusu vile uchaguzi wa mwaka wa 2027 utakavyofanya. Na baada ya yeye kupeana maoni yake na kusema ya kwamba iwapo uchaguzi ule hautakuwa wa haki, kunaweza kuwa kukatokea fujo, kwa sababu hii nchi imekuwa katika ile situation miaka ya hapo awali. Kwa hivyo tunasema ya kwamba zile semi za kujaribu kumkejeli na kujaribu kumlenga naibu wa rais His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua ni semi ambazo tunasema hatuziungi kabisa na tunazikemea, kwa sababu kila Mkenya katika hii nchi ako na haki ya kujieleza ya kikatiba, na iwapo mtu ataweza kulengwa kwa sababu ame-exercise ile haki yake ya kujieleza, hii nchi haitakuwa inaenda mahali ambapo ni pazuri. Na kwa sababu katiba na walioandika katiba walikuwa wanajua ni kwa nini waliweka ile haki katika katiba, ni jukumu letu kama mawakili, ni jukumu letu kama wananchi wa hii nchi kupigania ile haki ya mtu kuweza kujieleza, kwa sababu tukikubali serikali inyamazishe kila mtu, inyamazishe viongozi, inyamazishe wananchi, itakuwa ni tunawaachia ambao hawataki taifa letu mema waweze kuendelea na agenda ambazo hazitaweza kuwa zinanufaisha taifa letu la Kenya. Kwa hivyo tunasema hivi, tunapeana onyo kwa serikali ya kwamba sisi hatutakaa chini na tuwaangalie wakiendelea kunyanyasa viongozi na wakiendelea kunyanyasa wananchi wa Kenya. Kwa hivyo tunawaambia walio serikalini saa hii na pia Inspector General wa polisi, tunamwarifu ya kwamba katika katiba kipengee cha 245 amepewa ile independence of command, ya kwamba anaweza, ako na nguvu ya kudirect polisi wafanye vile wanavyofaa kufanya kisheria, na hafai kuwa anachukua maagizo kutoka kwa serikali, hafai kuwa anachukua maagizo kutoka kwa CS Murkomen. Kwa hivyo tunawaeleza ya kwamba wafuate sheria na ijapokuwa anaweza kuwa ako na pressure kutoka kwa serikali, ajue ya kwamba serikali huja na inaenda, lakini Kenya itabaki kuwa hapa na sisi wananchi wa Kenya tutabaki kuwa hapa. Kwa hivyo tunakemea hizo semi za CS Murkomen za kujaribu kumlenga His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, na tunaeleza pia kwamba kuna watu wengi ambao wamekuwa wakipeana semi zao ambazo zinaenda kinyume na sheria. Kuna watu wengi ambao wameweza kuchochea umoja wa taifa, na kwa sababu wako mlengo wa serikali hatujaona kitu chochote kikifanyika, na kwa sababu wako huo mlengo hatujamuona CS Murkomen akiongea ama watu wengine wale wakikashifu hayo maneno. Kwa hivyo tunasema sisi hatutawakubali, hatutakubalia waendelee kulenga mtu ambaye ana exercise ile right yake ya kujieleza. Asante sana.
Okay, my name is Jerry Mbogo, National Youth Leader, and we are here supporting whatever legal advisor to the DCP party that is led by His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, and I'm confirming that we know the government is hunting our party leader, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, and we are calling upon all young people all over from Kenya to remain vigilant. This is our country. We don't have anywhere else to go, and we must defend it. We must protect the leaders who have best interests for the people. And we cannot forget that the current regime started by trying to eliminate the young people during the finance bill and government protest during the finance bill 2024, and now they are running for our leaders who are supporting the young people agenda. They are the leaders who are supporting Kenya to be progressive, and going forward we wouldn't want anybody to be abducted, anybody to be threatened. We are the majority. As young people, we comprise up to 70% of the population, and there will come a time we say enough is enough.
When somebody is to be arrested, the law provides that they should be called and requested to present themselves, and then they are processed. It is only when they don't comply that the police can go and arrest them. Unless, of course, they have a warrant of arrest or a search warrant, that's when they can go and look for such a person. So what you saw yesterday and what you've read, it is all over in the media that more than 100 police officers were waiting to arrest the deputy president, the former deputy president. So really, do we need all these resources to go and look for just one person who is not hiding, who was addressing a church service, who even addressed a public rally? So he's not hidden anywhere. So just tell him you're required here, come and present yourself. So there's no need of putting security vehicles and police officers around any place that somebody feels that His Excellency can go or where he goes, because he's a very law-abiding citizen, and he's known. He's a very truthful man. So if you tell him, come here, he'll tell you, I cannot come at this time, I'll come the other time. But for now, give me 5 minutes, I'll come. So let the police use the procedure that is prescribed by the law. Don't chase someone. Go and chase criminals. For the DP, for His Excellency, just send him a message and he will present himself. So this is wastage of resources to keep on chasing him around. Thank you.
In this country, we have seen the serious misuse of power by the state, and I think it's not a strange thing what we witnessed during the last year's anti-government protest on the finance bill, and how the government reacted in handling the youths by violating the constitution despite even various court orders. And currently what is going on, the continued arrest and intimidation against our leaders. It is a political action. It has no legal basis, because persons who are instigating these steps or ordering the police to do this, take this action, are especially politicians. And it is a call upon the Inspector General of Police that his office must respect the Constitution, must respect the rule of law and must remain independent to avoid being used or misused by the regime of the day to cause oppression and violation of human rights. Because at the end of the day, we shall hold you personally liable for your command responsibility. The chairman can wrap up.
To the best of knowledge, no summons. And in any case, the first people to be informed about any summons will be his lawyers and those people who are close to him. And none of them has such summons. In fact, he's been telling them, if you have any summons, bring them to me so that I comply. But if you don't have summons, just go back to your office. Then when you get them, you come to me. And just let there be structures on how to summon me. So now, I think he's ready to comply with the law in case it's required. But so far, there is no requirement. Nobody has requested him to go. And those people who are just following him are just intimidating him. But I think from what we know him, from how we know him, I think that one only makes him more resolute in pursuing what's the best for this country.